every Thursday. We have so much content that we can share with you, and honestly, just being a part of a beautiful sisterhood where women just like you are healing and desiring to attract the man, the king God has for them, and stop playing around with these jokers and clowns, my dear, okay? So tonight, like I said, we are diving into probably one of the topics I'm most passionate about, which is debunking, demystifying, defining, and redefining toxic love, okay, my dear? So let's start with a quote and dive right in. I believe we can sum up toxicity in a one-sided equation, okay? In trying to become something that everyone loves and trying to become something that your partner loves, that you hope your partner would love, you actually end up becoming someone that you despise, okay, my dear? In trying to become someone that is appealing and attractive and just, everything to everyone, what do you have left for yourself, okay? I believe toxicity is founded in the one-sided relationship, one-sided equation, where there is a lot of, hi, welcome, but there is a lot of give and no take, but there's a lot of giving and no receiving, okay? Toxic relationships, I believe, are on a scale. So there's unhealthy relationships, there's healthy, and then there's unhealthy. And I believe toxicity is kind of maybe low to mid on the scale of unhealthy, whereas abusive would be like a 10. If we're speaking of a scale from 1 to 10, abusive is like a 10. You got to get out of there. There's no saving that relationship. Whereas toxic may be dwelling somewhere between like 4 to like a 7, where if you're like at a 4, there are things that you could work on, both of you in a partnership could work on to bring it, to a 1 or a 0 on the scale of unhealth in relationships. But if you're, at 5 and above, those are some major red flags that maybe you should reconsider that relationship. And so those are the tools that I want to give you this evening, okay? Ruling out what is toxic love, is my relationship salvageable, okay? What should I be looking out for? And what are some steps that I can take? If those are the questions you have, girlfriend, I got you, sis, okay? Toxic relationships are rooted in unhealthy communication, okay? Mismatched goals and dreams and visions, okay? There is a lack of alignment. There's no alignment between the couple, between the pair, okay? Becoming one with the one is a process, okay, my dear? We cannot become one with everyone that we come across, okay? There's a reason why I believe God has specific people for us to marry. I believe that. If that's not something you believe, that's okay. But I do believe God absolutely has specific people that he brings into purposeful partnership based on his plans, on his sovereign plans for our life, which is why we end up in situations where we don't actually become one with that person because we were never meant to, okay? So toxic, whereas it may not be inherently abusive, where there's an element of physical, sexual, financial, verbal, or emotional abuse, okay? Toxicity is grounded in just being misaligned, okay? Not having your needs met, okay? Not in a way where you are self-sacrificing all the time, but there could be a level of self-sacrifice where you literally have to abandon your needs, your wants, your desires for the improvement of the relationship. And if it's constantly one person sacrificing that, that's toxic. That's not healthy, okay, my dear? And these are things I want you all to begin to pick up on and realize and be able to self-examine. Am I always compromising in this relationship? Am I always the one who is doing all the giving and not receiving, okay? These are very important things to look out for because it can snowball, okay? Relationships may not start out inherently toxic, but they can worsen over time, okay? And we do not, here at Healed Woman, we do not want you to be in a situation where it's likened to like put a frog in a pot of boiling water and he'll jump right out. But put him in a pot of cold water and slowly turn up the heat and he'll just stay there and die. We do not want you to be put into a situation where you feel like things are okay and suddenly, over time, maybe not suddenly, but eventually, you're caught up in a situation that is compromising your standards, your beliefs, okay, your faith, and we're getting to that very, very soon. So I wanted to lay that foundation about toxicity and maybe what we can look forward to in terms of it may not be a relationship where like your life is in danger, okay? We definitely talk about that more so on my YouTube channel. I've discussed, the difference between toxic and abusive relationships, how to know the difference, telltale signs, and what you can do in each situation to sort of remedy that situation. Abusive, relieving. We don't tolerate abuse, okay? But toxicity is a little bit different, okay? It's a little insidious, which means it kind of creeps upon you. You don't really know what you're dealing with until it's in your face, okay? So with that in mind, I want to just kind of jump right into our list. So I'm kind of doing these like lists of 5 things. It's a little easier to digest. So we are going to start with the spiritual. So I wanted to cover one area of our life where toxicity may seep and creep in, and it's kind of undetectable for a little while until you realize, oh, this isn't how my life was a couple months ago or before meeting this person, okay? That's kind of how my situation was. I was literally the frog in the cold water that slowly but very, steadily turned up the heat, okay? And I found myself in some very hot waters. So we are going to attack the spiritual, the physical, the emotional, the relational, and the sexual. We'll save that for last if you hang on till the end. We're going to cover an area of life where toxicity may be seeping in, starting with the spiritual. So first sign that you may be caught up in a toxic relationship: your relationship with God has become distant or non-existent. Okay, my dear? Really felt that one. It's actually raining over here, so it could be a little bit of the thunderstorm vibes seeping in, but that one kind of hit really hard, jumping into this list. My dear, the most important relationship you will ever and you should ever pursue on this earth is the one with God. He is the creator of your soul. He is the author and finisher of your life. If you do not know God because you were not introduced to, the concept of God at a young age, that's one thing. But here at Healed Woman, sis, okay, we are believers, we're on fire, we are women of faith, okay, I invite you to let Jesus into your heart and watch him turn your life around, okay, my dear? But if you have had a decent, maybe growing, maybe a baby faith and it's maturing relationship with God, and since meeting this person, you find yourself distancing yourself from the faith, from community, maybe not going to church all the time, I understand, we're still very much post-pandemic, but you start to draw away. This person draws you away, okay? That's a sign of toxicity. That's not healthy, okay? Our spiritual evolution is so important. I know not a lot of emphasis is placed on it in culture, but it is really important that our spirits evolve. We are spirit beings, my dear, okay? And the fact that someone would desire to take you away from a place where you can spiritually evolve and grow and nurture your spirit, man, nurture your inner world, okay? That's unhealthy. This person is literally saying, I do not care about your evolution. I do not care about your maturation. All I care about is the focus being on me. Seriously. Because when two people come together and there is no uniting goal or uniting reason for them to come together, they tend to focus on each other. And that makes the world really, really small. Two people that are just focused on each other without maybe that. So I always reference like the love triangle. The only triangle any of us should be in is a love triangle with God as the head, okay? Two people coming together who are also pursuing God are going to naturally, on their path to purpose, run into each other because they're both pursuing the same, I don't want to say the same person. I mean, they are pursuing the same person, pursuing the same vision, goal, okay? And these two people will actually come closer in pursuing God. But if you have two people that their entire worlds revolve around each other, there is no sense of purpose or united vision or goal that brought them together, it makes for a very small world, okay? It is really unhealthy to think that once you get into partnership, that your whole world is going to become that person, okay? You have a life, you're a whole individual outside of that person. And if that person is stifling your relationship with the Heavenly Father, they do not care about you, sis. Like, that is the honest truth. They do not care about you. I understand if you are in a situation, because I've seen it firsthand, where both of you maybe got into a relationship before you came to know the Lord, and one of you joins a church or a denomination or, becomes of the faith, becomes a believer, and the other person doesn't. In that case, the Lord does not, mandate that you have to get a divorce or separate. He says because you're a believer, you actually cover your spouse in that way, which is amazing. But even in that situation, you have to be very, very discerning that your spouse who doesn't believe doesn't detract from your spiritual evolution, my dear, okay? And these are all things I really want you all to consider. Is my spiritual health intact? Can I be with this person and still pursue God, pursue purpose, okay? Do they take away from my purpose? That's another sign of toxicity, honestly, but it's not on the list for tonight, okay? That person does not care about your growth. That is the truth. I know it's a hard pill to swallow, girlfriend, but it's probably the biggest sign on this list. If this person is discouraging you from pursuing a relationship with the Heavenly Father, that's a thumbs down for me, girlfriend, like 2 thumbs down. Not a great way to start out, okay? A man that is not first spirit led is not fit to lead you, honey, okay? A man that is not first submitted to the Heavenly Father is not fit to be a leader, like straight up. And that actually explains a lot of. Okay, it said it was reconnecting, so I hope you all can still hear me. There is a current thunderstorm happening in the DMV, so pray for me. We might get rained out, so we're gonna try to pedal through this quickly. I was saying a man that is not first spirit led, a man that is not submitted to his Heavenly Father, a man that does not understand that submission goes both ways, honey, how he's submitted first and then he can model submission for you to be able to be submitted to him. Come on, girlfriend. He is not fit to lead you, okay, my dear? He will not lead you. A man that is not led, he can still lead, okay? He's not fit to lead a woman of God. That's not a question, okay? There's just no question about it. A man that is not first spirit led is not fit to lead a woman of God. A man that leads without being spirit led, he's going to lead you away from God, okay? He's not going to lead you closer. He's going to lead you away. So he's able to lead. He's able to persuade, to influence your decisions, but they're going to be counterproductive, counterintuitive to where the Lord wants you to be. I know y'all just heard that little rumble of thunder. Let's keep going, girlfriend, okay? So that was our first sign for those who are